Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Coach Andres with Coaching with Andres. And ladies, let's get going. Today is part two, number two, of part one of why are you attracting unavailable men? If you haven't seen part one, I highly suggest check it out. I think it's right over here or over there. It could be over here. It's available. I'll tell you that. It's not unavailable. It's available. It's available and it's right there. Watch that first. So in that way, it sets the stage for this one because these are basically steps, tips. I always say tools, not rules, into how to find this level of understanding, this clarity. Why do I attract unavailable men? Let's begin. Number one. This has to lead on from the first three steps and tips I mentioned in video one. Number one, change where you're meeting men. Change it. You have to. And maybe it doesn't say or meaning changing to places you don't, want to go, places you haven't gone. How about that? Something different. And it's so funny living in Florida. I live around maybe 40, 50, 60 miles north of Miami. And Miami is famously known for toxic dating. It's so, I'm not a Floridian. I've only been here almost 3 years. I'm originally from Washington, D.C. And then I was in California for almost 16 years. And then now Florida. But Miami's got this reputation. And I've seen it now more and more since I've been here. And I don't live in Miami, and thank goodness, because it's a little too much for me in that scene. I prefer more quiet. But I love Miami for a good time celebration once in a while. But when I see all these women who are beautiful, powerful, educated, successful, have their own business, entrepreneurs, hustlers, it's awesome. It's beautiful. It's sexy. But they go to the same places every weekend. Not the same restaurant or club, but the same style. Get that sexy fix picture. Bottle service sparklers. High-end restaurants with the same kind of vibe of people. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I think those are all great things because I enjoy that once in a while. But if that is your life, even if you don't live in Miami or Florida, what do you think you're attracting? Most men in those environments are there for a good time. Guilty. I was that. I know that. Now I want family, marriage, wife, mother of my kids, all that. And I mentioned before in my other videos what my goal is. So I hang around people who have that. Do I miss the good times going out once in a while? Yeah, of course I do. And I do that once in a while. But weekly, monthly, I'm hanging out with people in relationships that I want, that I admire, I idolize. And as I mentioned in the part one, is the role models, ladies, that you are maybe not putting yourself around when it comes to the men. If it's something you lacked in your relationships and family, or the friends, or the group of people that love to have a good time all the time, then you're realizing you're self-sabotaging yourself. You don't even know it because it's fun doing what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with it. But if that's who you're regularly hanging out with, then you're going to subconsciously, unintentionally attract the same kind of type. You're mirroring those patterns. So change where you're meeting men. It doesn't have to be boring. Maybe trying new things, taking classes of things you want to get better at. But changing where you're meeting men. I want you to leave a comment if you're in this position, if you're in the situation, wherever city you are, whatever country you're in, leave a comment. And I want to know, are you willing to change where you're meeting men? And I know online is the most simplest way, but the goal is not just to change the app or the service you pay for or get from swiping. It's more about changing your lifestyle. And changing how you look at things and trying new things physically, literally at the place off your phone. Because that will build a more of a pure, higher self-esteem of what's good for you. And it's more enjoyable. So it's not just so convenient and easy to do this all the time. You're experiencing new things. You never know who you might meet. Probably somebody available. Number two is a very common one, unfortunately. And, I think we've all done it in some form, which is okay. But, if we keep on repeating it, then you're realizing we're creating, again, unhealthy patterns, bad habits. Getting overly attached way too early. I have a client of mine, and she gets overly attached way too early. And it's kind of funny as a coach. It's not like I'm encouraging this, but don't just date one at a time. I know. What do you mean? Try to be a player? No. Don't get me wrong. Have your options open until someone shows you a reason why you should take them serious. If you date just one at a time, then you're putting all your eggs in one basket where you might get overly attached, overly excited, and then you basically realize, am I making him unavailable because I'm only focusing on one person? And this is talking about in the beginning stages. Keep your options open until you see that man present to you in a consistent way of who he is and what his intentions are with you. Almost like tryouts. That way you don't set yourself up for, failure or discouragement, disappointment. If you have options, then you realize maybe a few of them are unavailable, but I've seen two of them be available. One I like a little more than the other. Let's see where that one goes and go forward with that one. You don't have to keep on talking to the other men, but go forward because you had your options open in the beginning. Don't get overly attached. Which leads to number 3, the most important one. The most important one, and I've done this with women, with girls back in my younger days. Trust me, I have. I think we've all done it in some form, so I'm not going to feel bad about it. That was when I was young and dumb. Ignoring red flags because you want them to be the green flag so bad. You're like, all right, this red is not really red. It's more like orange, which pretty much is kind of like typically a yellow. And then yellow is kind of much like on the way to like a green. Yeah? No. Red is red. Keep it red. Don't worry about it. Because you have red flags. So do I. But if the red flags are big enough where they're deal breakers, don't try to make them into an orange, yellow, green. Instead, work on your red flags to become orange, yellow, and green. And don't let that fool you or trick you to date on potential or date on hopes or date on, 5 years from now, he's going to be green. If he's not working on it, you shouldn't work on it. If he doesn't want to change the color, you shouldn't change the color. And sometimes that means we have a weak or maybe blinded, because we're so excited, filtering system. You know what your deal breakers are. And if they are deal breakers, they're non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Right? And that's where we have to follow the line of morals and values and standards. Because if you don't, that usually leads into unavailableness in some way in the relationship or in the situation. And you're like, how did I put myself in this position? I literally did put myself in this position. I should have paid attention to that in the beginning. But I wanted him to be the right guy so bad. And if he is the right guy, who has red flags, because everyone's got them, he's telling you how he's working on them. He's aware of them. He acknowledges them. He's not in denial, not rejecting it, not too egotistical to be like, I'm perfect. He's like, you know what? I'm aware of that. I need to get a little better at this, or I want to make sure I improve on that, and I don't want that to affect where we're going. And you're like, wow, that's so like honorable, admirable, attractive, desirable, encouraging, because now you feel like, I really like what's going on here too, and I kind of have some things that I want to work on as well. And now you have a relationship that's exciting because you guys are evolving individually for something together. It's a beautiful thing. It's rare. I mean, that's kind of like the commitment you want at the end of the day, right? Two people who are got things to work on, but what they do know about each other, they love and they commit to, but they challenge each other, encourage each other, not manipulate, not emasculate, to grow, to evolve. If you feel like you're attracting unavailable men and you have some insight on what I just talked about, I want you to leave a comment. If you feel like you're attracting unavailable men and I haven't covered it, leave what it is. Tell me, educate me, teach me on what you've done or what you've noticed that I haven't discussed so I can learn more about that. And I'll do another video on that topic. If you are attracting unavailable men and you can relate to the things I've talked about, not in this video only, but also part 1, and you know what, coach, I need some help. Can you please give me some guidance? I want you to make a comment about it. Make a comment that you want some coaching, and guess what? I'm going to reply myself, not somebody else, myself, and I'm going to offer you a special discounted price on my coaching session, and we're going to get started as soon as possible. Leave a comment with any interest in coaching, and I'm going to give you a special discounted price, and we'll get started as soon as possible, and set yourself up for success. Prepare yourself for the right guy, not the next guy, but the right guy who's available, because I'm available as your coach. That was pretty good. I don't like that. My name is Coach Andres. I'm here to help. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.